of a coming major increase in the blood oxygen supply to human brains is that various short-sighted oxygen-depleting activities such as deforestation and other unintelligent practices should fade from the scene. Americans especially will have an opportunity to outgrow many stupid things. It's strange that a common drug, aspirin's pain by interfering with the nervous system's ability to use oxygen and the electrochemical reactions needed to transmit impulses. Though maybe it's not that strange, considering that the Bayer company, which originated it, was a subsidiary of IG Farben, the German chemical conglomerate that's famous for, among other things, developing and mass-producing the lethal gas Zyklon BK, specifically for exterminations at Nazi death camps. Economic inertia. Dr. Terry McGrath, the CEO at Medizone, confirmed that hydrogen peroxide would in principle act much like ozone in destroying the AIDS virus, but pointed out that it's never likely to be tested and proven in the laboratory. There's simply an economic incentive, since it's an unpatentable process and offers no more commercial returns than most other natural remedies. So it's completely up to the individual patients and concerned citizens to push these options out into the open immediately before various companies get too financially committed to the assumption that AIDS or any other disease will continue to spread and be incurable. This is as good as any place for an FDA-required disclaimer. Information given here is for research and educational purposes only and is not intended to prescribe treatment. Veterinary and agricultural applications. Humans aren't the only life form that benefits from compensation for their oxygen-deficient air, water, and or lifestyle. H2O2 in animals' drinking water, not enough to taste unpleasant, knocks out a growing list of illnesses. Locally, cats have gotten rid of their feline leukemia and chlamydia and are back to their old energetic slapstick selves. Distemper in dogs has been reversed with H2O2, and a growing number of farmers are applying it to their livestock to cut losses from disease and infected wounds. Plants grow better with an ounce of 3% H2O2 per quart of water they're given. Spray the solution on their leaves as well. Seeds germinate faster with bigger sprouts when they are first soaked, and 1 ounce of 3% H2O2 to a pint of water. Instead of cutting trees that are diseased or otherwise struggling, spray them with H2O2 and water, 1 part 3% to 32 parts water. Why isn't this already in use? The obvious question is, if hyperoxygenation is so simple and effective, why has it taken so long to discover it? Ozone is hardly new, and hydrogen peroxide has been on the market for over a century. Why aren't all the doctors already using it? How come this story isn't all over the major news outlets? Turning the question around helps clarify the problem. Just exactly what would happen if a cure was discovered that was completely effective against the vast majority of diseases, ridiculously cheap and plentiful, and in most cases could be self-administered without a physician? Would the current medical establishment welcome a breakthrough that could render 98% of all drugs, testing, and disease-related surgery obsolete? What would be the response of the pharmaceutical industrialists, hospital chain owners, health insurance moguls, AMA, and FDA? Would you expect to hear of such an announcement from any medical journal or media outlet owned by people financially committed to the medical status quo, which is practically all of them? How many want to help their own occupation become unnecessary? And if the cure has already been suppressed once, wouldn't the possible blame for allowing people to die without it prove to be more incentive to continue keeping the whole thing quiet? Alright then, this is precisely the situation that exists, and the cure has indeed been around for ages. It has been independently reported effective against virtually every disease at one time or another in thousands of public domain medical articles, which have never been collected and correlated until recently. And they're so simple and basic that concealing it from most physicians and the general public has required a tremendous smokescreen of artificial complications, narrow specializations, symptomatic classifications, and user-hostile treatments. If this is so, it follows that the more profit-fixated elements of the medical establishment will not be too thrilled about the recent surge of interest in oxygen therapies. The drug industry has expanded enormously since World War II, while Americans' level of health has dropped from the world's highest to the lowest among industrialized nations. It does look as if the bottom line has been money and not health for a long time. The battle for the future of medicine between nature's truth and lucrative lies is about to really heat up. We can expect to see disinformation articles and newscasts with persuasive medical experts, some of whom will believe what they're saying, warning of the dangers of hydrogen peroxide, ozone, and even regular oxygen. These reports will attempt to blur the distinction between using therapeutic dosages at safe dilutions and the harmful effects of excessive concentrations. Plenty of grisly examples are available of what happens when various tissues are over-oxidized. Anti-oxidation propaganda pieces will probably not mention that over the years the FDA has approved H2O2 as a skin antiseptic at full 3% strength, as a hair bleaching agent at 6%, and for internal use as an additive to milk and in aseptic long shelf life packaging. Nor are they likely to acknowledge that many European countries use ozone and H2O2 in their city's water supply, and that they enjoy much better health than in the US. And they will be unable to truthfully cite any examples of people who were harmed by using H2O2 in the correct demonstrated therapeutic concentrations. It is vital for Americans to realize that current economic dynamics do not allow the businessmen in charge of the health industry any incentive at all to make people permanently healthy and lose them as customers. It's the same reason why the energy conglomerates do not encourage citizens to become energy self-sufficient. The Pentagon has no incentive to stop wars, and the American Psychiatric Association sees no advantage to ending mental illness. Fortunately, the majority of physicians really do want to see their patients get well. They also wouldn't mind regaining the respect and admiration with which physicians were once more widely regarded. When it comes down to a choice between saving lives and protecting profits, most will be brave enough to overhaul their medical belief systems, discard obsolete methodologies, and basically tell the pharmaceutical conglomerates to go shove it. The rest will be simply get left behind. Sources for food-grade hydrogen peroxide. Most pharmacists have never heard of it, so it's usually a waste of time to ask them. A number of chemical supply houses have 35% H2O2 available. Check your local directories and call a few. Under FDA pressure, DuPont and possibly other major chemical companies have recently issued warnings to their distributors not to sell hydrogen peroxide to people who want it for healing purposes. So when you inquire if they ask what you want it for, it will unfortunately be necessary to lie. If you say you want it as a cleaning agent, that's at least partly close to the truth. Several physicians quietly sell it through the mail, but they aren't the same ones promoting its healing properties for obvious health FDA-related reasons. A good source in California, though he can ship it anywhere, is Dr. A.J. McDonald at P.O. Box 775, Lodi, California, 95240. Phone number 209-368-8681, $12 a pint. Your best move would be to share this information with owners of health food stores in your area. Call them and ask if they have food-grade H2O2. Some already do. And tell them why you want it and how it works. Encourage them to carry it and give them Dr. McDonald's address if they don't seem inclined to track down a local source. Clean room grade 30% H2O2, used for cleaning computer rooms since it's a powerful disinfectant and leaves no residue when it evaporates, is reported to be just as pure as food grade and much cheaper. Check with labs that make wafer fabrication chemicals, or contact the manufacturers of silicon chips and other computer parts and the data processing complexes that might use it in their clean rooms, and ask where to buy it. The more sources become known, the harder it will be for anyone to make it unavailable. There's more to the article than this. If you want the whole thing, for further information, contact Waves Forest, P.O. Box 768, Monterey, California, 93942, or go to www.familyhealthnews.com.